Hello and welcome to another Ready to Ride Pilates for Horse Riders session. If you are not a horse rider and you found yourself here by mistake, please don't go away. All of the exercises we do here will be really beneficial for you anyway, provided you are fit enough and healthy enough to do them in the first place. This is going to be an intro level / easy version of some abs and hip control exercises. These muscle groups are essential to work on if you want that nice independent seat, if you want to have nice light upper body control, nice light hands, and also if you are working on improving your ability to keep one side of your body still whilst you move the other side, so for applying leg aids. Apologies if my cat gets in the way, I might have to move her in a minute, but we'll see how we get on. So if you come over here, she likes to do Pilates. We're going to start off on your back and we're going to do an exercise called the abdo prep. So if you can lie, you do need a little pillow ideally. You want to lie with your feet and knees bent hip width apart, arms onto the mat beside you. You want to imagine you've got a nice flat tray of drinks balanced on your tummy, and take your pelvic floor lift up onto floor 3. Then float your hands, reach for your toes, and then lift your head so that you look between your legs. And then take everything back down together. Now you should notice as I do this that it's only really my upper body that is doing the moving. So you can, if you want to, have a little spiky ball resting on your tummy. I do this in my classes, but unfortunately my garden isn't very flat, so I can't use it because it will roll off. But having something like a spiky ball on your tummy is a really good way of being able to tell if your tummy is staying absolutely still. It also helps you to see if you are rolling from one side to the other. Then we can change this up to work on your oblique abdominals a little bit more. So let's just move you over to the side once again. Apologies for the cat. Okay, so we are going to try this time with having one hand at the top of your neck, base of your head, the other one by your side. And it seems quite similar to start off with. Neutral tummy position, pelvic floor onto floor 3. Float one hand, reach for your toes, and then bring the opposite shoulder towards the opposite knee. Then back down again. So reach, float, and turn. This is working your oblique abdominals. They're very important in your rotational control as you're moving through your body. So really important for when you're riding and your horse spooks, or when you're doing lateral work, anything like that, going over fences. Okay, we're going to do the same thing the other way. Let's just move you once again. Good girl. Okay, so swap hands. So you've now got the other hand at the top of your neck, base of your head, and the other hand again down by your side. Check feet and knees hip width apart, neutral tummy, pelvic floor, and then again float, reach into that turn, and come back down again. Check tummy, pelvic floor, knee position, float, reach into that turn. You will find that one side it is much easier to do than the other. So one side you will go further, one side you will find it much easier to do the turn. That is totally normal, and it's a good sign that you need to be working on both sides to try and make them a little bit more equal. So we'll do one more of these ones, and then we're going to move on to a little bit of hip control. We're going to start off with an exercise called the hip twist. I love this one. It's so simple, but it's so effective. So you're going to start with your hands resting onto those pelvic headlights. You're going to get a lot of feedback from your hands, and that's going to tell you if you're rocking from one side to the other or not. So hands onto your headlights, neutral tummy again, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and then you roll one knee out to the side, back up, and the other knee out to the side, and back up. So again, this is one that you can do with a little spiky ball in your tummy if you need to. That's really handy for letting you know if you roll off to one side or the other. Most of us tend to roll off to one side in particular, whichever leg we're doing. We roll off always to the same side, and that's a really good sign that you need to work on your stability and your control around that side. So this is a nice easy one to do, but it's great for control around your hips and tuning in your body or your brain to what your body is doing around your hips. Okay, so then we can change this up a little bit harder to an exercise called the scissors. Same starting point, neutral tummy, pelvic floor, hands onto your headlights. Then moving from your hip, you're bringing one leg up to what we call tabletop and back down, and then the other leg up to tabletop and back down. So it's quite a simple movement, but you want to really make sure that you're always moving from the hip. It's very easy with this exercise to find that you just bend through the knee. That's cheating. This is about hip control. This is making your abdominals work as your leg moves away, but it's also about making your hip flexors work as you move away. And hip flexors are a crucial group for horse riders to work on. So again, using your hands onto your headlights, give you that feedback. Make sure you're not rocking from side to side. Again, you can also use a spiky ball if you have one. Keep checking that your pelvic floor is staying active as you do this exercise. So one more with each leg. Okay, then for your next exercise, if you've got a headrest underneath, take it out, because we're going to do an exercise called the shoulder bridge. Okay, so you're going to start again, checking those feet and knees are hip width apart, neutral tummy, pelvic floor onto floor 3. Then I would like you to roll your pelvis back and flatten into the mat. So feel like you're imprinting your spine into the mat. Then you peel up one vertebra at a time until you get to the top of your bridge. Make sure you can breathe in and out nice and easily at the top of the bridge, and then come back down one vertebra at a time until you get through your imprint to the finish. Check those knees are still hip width apart, and then again roll back, peel up one vertebra at a time until you get to the top. Make sure you can breathe at the top, and then roll back down one vertebra at a time through your imprint until you get to the finish. So this is a really nice, easy exercise to do. There are a lot of progressions for this exercise, but as this is an intro session, we're not going to do anything more than this today. This is just a really brilliant exercise again for focusing on a little bit on that hip control, so lengthening through your hip flexors as you go up, but also focusing your brain on that segmental movement through your spine, which is really important if you want to be able to move effectively with your horse. We can do one more. Okay, then we're going to finish off propped up onto your side. And we're going to do an exercise also for your abs. And what we're going to do is have your shoulders lined up with your hips, lined up with your knees. And then you're going to activate your pelvic floor, and you're going to lift your pelvis to take your arm over your head and back down again. So pelvic floor into that lift, slowly back down again. Pelvic floor into the lift and slowly back down again. And what you are doing is using those oblique abdominals again to help you do that lift. So it's a really simple little exercise. It does include a little bit of work around your shoulders as well, but it's a lovely simple exercise to do. One more. Okay, then we're going to swap and do the same thing on the other side. So again, prop yourself up, straight line from shoulders, hips to knees, top hand onto your side, activate your pelvic floor, and then into that lift, and slowly back down again. If you've got shoulder pain, you may struggle with some elements of this, in which case you can just do the top arm part. Obviously it's not as effective, it's not working your abdominals in the same way, but you can still turn it into a vaguely effective exercise in some capacity. Of course, you don't have to do it at all if you don't want to. Keep checking your pelvic floor is going the whole way through. We'll do a couple more. Last one. Super job. Okay, then let's come back up into sitting. Okay, so those are just a few little exercises that you can do to work on combining hips and abs together. The two, they don't work separately. Our bodies never work in separate pieces, but it's useful to sometimes to think in your brain as you do exercises of separating them out. Then you know you've targeted all those different individual muscle groups. So I hope you found that helpful. If you want to progress onto those, there are other video sessions on this channel which are a little bit harder, but I'll be returning to these easier versions from time to time just to keep you topped up and really refreshed. Hope you found it useful. Drop your comments down below. That's always really helpful to know. If you're following me on other social media channels, that's always really useful too, because you can keep in touch that way as well. If you haven't subscribed, then please do, because then you'll be the first to know when these exercise sessions come out. And take care, and I will see you next time.